We can get started. Okay, cool. So the first question that we wanted to ask you is, can you tell us about the advocacy work that you do for victims of domestic terrorism and how others can get involved?
So a lot of times the different organizations that I work with, um, they've contacted me or I know them through mutual people. Um, and I thought it was just really important to get the word out there that no matter what kind of tragedy you go through, you can come through it. And a lot of that is having a support system with you. So having a support system of other survivors, especially, is a really important thing. I've met so many survivors through um, this organization and through Lois, and just knowing people that have met her. I still stay in touch with Hector. I still stay in touch with um, Michelle Gay that I met early on. So it's good to bring awareness to people that haven't been through stuff like that, but it's also really great to kind of bring other survivors together so that they have a sense that there's somebody else that knows what they're going through.
Thank you so much for the answer. Yeah, definitely having like a strong network
Yeah.
is really integral to the success of a mission. What is one of the greatest challenges you've had to overcome, just in general?
Um, well, in general, I think probably with everything that I've been through in the last 8 years, um, giving myself a break is a huge thing, and to not allow myself to get defeated, because it's so easy to just sit there and say, I could just give up and just not do anything about it. But um, you go through these things for a reason. And I think that was one of the hardest things, is for me to understand that there was a reason that I went through this. And it's made me a better person through it. And it doesn't come without hardships and struggles, but you definitely learn more about yourself through a process of healing after excuse me.
Do you think that support network and social connectivity piece is one of the biggest things that maybe help you and others in that situation?
I would definitely say it is. I was very resistant to it at first. I think because of my injury and losing my leg, I went into a very dark place, and I was very depressed for a long time. And having somebody there to be like, "How are you doing? What's going on with you? Are you having a good day? Are you having a bad day?" Just someone there to check in on you, um, and to make you feel like you're not alone, regardless of whether there's someone who's been through it or not. But having someone to check in on you and kind of push you out of your comfort zone a little bit more kind of gets you more motivated, um, to find your better purpose in life.
And I'm sure you've been on the other side of that now, where you're the one helping other people who may have gone through something similar. Do you feel like you get something out of that, helping people as well?
I
Feel like it's a
do. Yeah, it's definitely a give and take. I have gotten involved through the Amputee Coalition with doing peer support visits. So it's someone who has been through an amputation, and they help kind of navigate and guide someone who's a new amputee. And I have two girls right now that I'm in contact with, and it brings me just as much joy talking to them, so that I know that my experience and what I went through and all the hardships that I went through, they know that they're not alone. So it helps me to feel like the people that helped me during that time, I'm able to give back what they taught me and what they enriched my life with.
yeah, that's awesome.
Thanks.
How did you first get involved with Lois and NCCSafe?
Um, so Lois actually reached out to me, and found out that we had connections through um, the fact that her kids went to Mount Hebron High School, and that's where I graduated from. So she knew a lot of the teachers that I had been there with. So she had gotten in touch with me and said, I have this really great organization that supports survivors and helps unite everyone together. And she's just such a fun, energetic, positive person that I was kind of drawn to her. And it really developed a friendship and made me feel like I had that extra support, and I had someone there that was saying, okay, what do you want to do? How can I help you? And it was a give and take with us. And she's just such a giving person that I couldn't imagine not working with her.
Nice. She is certainly special.
Yes, she
Um,
is.
So a little more specifically, in NCCSafe, we got our 5K coming up. We're wondering how you've seen it grow in the past 5 years or so.
The numbers have definitely grown. It started off with, a few hundred people, or a few 10, like maybe 50 people, and then it grew to 75. And you can just see more and more people coming out. And I think it was difficult, when COVID happened and everyone was, very worried about how things were going to go. And I think the word has gotten out more, and you've definitely seen it grow and progress and thrive so much more.
How do you think the 5Ks have been effective at raising awareness, especially over the years where like you've seen it grow in numbers, like a lot?
I think it's definitely it's reached more people. The message is so relevant now. We have, unfortunately, so many different scenarios where people are in traumatic situations and they're in these things. I mean, we've had shootings numerous times over the last few months, and unfortunately, we have to learn about this stuff and people have to be prepared. So I think the time is very relevant for what we need. And what we need is a group that is so dedicated, like NCCSafe is.
So we wanted to ask you about your children's book.
Yes.
So it's The Journey of Nem,
Yes.
and just your inspiration behind it.
So Nem is a story about a dragonfly that loses part of her wing. So it kind of took the journey of what happened to me and how I lost my leg and how I had to come to terms with all of it, and learning that while Nem may look different from all these dragonflies, that they all actually are different in their own way, and that it's not a bad thing to be different. And we hear so many stigmas in school and, different things where, well, they're special. And I wanted to turn that on its head and not make special a negative thing. So that was really the point of that book, and kind of teaching younger kids to embrace their differences, because I know when I was younger, I was bullied, and, I grew up before most of my friends, so I got made fun of for a lot of things. And I really wanted, especially since when I got injured, I was teaching 2-year-olds, little babies, and I didn't want them to grow up in a world where they had to be ashamed of their differences. So that's where the book came from.
Yeah, that's awesome. And have you gotten some outreach from parents and children who have been positively affected by, reading your book and everything?
I've heard on numerous occasions, and I hear all the time randomly of, oh, my son or daughter is so cool, and Nem's wing looks like this robotic thing. It looks like Iron Man. So I've heard that it's touched a lot of people, and that really is what the goal was all along.
Yeah, I was reading some of the Amazon reviews and everything, and they were so positive, and you could just see that the book had made such a good difference for people. So that's awesome.
Thanks.
And we wanted to, on a lighter note, we had seen that you were getting married, and
Yes.
we wanted to get an update. Were you able to have your wedding? And
Yes.
COVID?
So yeah, it got crazy. We were 2 weeks away from our wedding and then everything shut down. So we were crazy, but we ended up getting married in my in-laws' backyard in June. So we were able to get married and do all that. And we haven't had our big formal wedding yet, but we're going to be doing that later on this year. So we're able to do that.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we have anything else, guys?
I should let you guys know that I've just recently started working on book number 2.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Yeah. Tell us.
So that one's going to be coming soon. It's still in the very early stages, but it's going to be a continuation of Nem's journey on understanding her differences and meeting new people with differences. So there will be a new character involved in this, and my sister is going to be involved in writing it with me, and my nephew, my oldest nephew, is going to be he's got ideas in his head of what he wants Nem's next journey to be.
Nice. Such a great, important message.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. And then when can people kind of expect that?
So now that I've put it out into the universe, I have to, get on things about it, but I'm hoping to speed the process up than my first one was. So hopefully in the next year, it'll be ready to go out and for everyone to see it.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah. So we'll all be like looking out for that. Okay. I think we're good to stop recording. Thank you so much.
Of course.